Good evening. Welcome back to Belgrade, Serbia. This is the FIBA Women's EuroBasket 2019 and the semifinals about to get underway, starting with Great Britain and France. Well, that woman right there played a big part in this tournament for France. Rhea Hartley hitting a game-tying three-pointer with about 10 seconds to go against Belgium to force overtime a couple of nights ago, and then France winning in overtime to advance to the semifinals. And they're going to be facing a Great Britain team that is, quite frankly, folks, one of the stories of the tournament, the real surprise package. First ever semifinal for them. So we've already seen Belgium and Sweden win today, so they clinched their spots in the FIBA Women's Olympic Qualifying Tournament next year, and now it's all about the semifinals here of the tournament. Of course, all the teams in the semifinals have also clinched their spots in the FIBA Women's Olympic Qualifying Tournaments. I'm Jeff Taylor, joined by Shona Thorburn, and it's crunch time, Shona. I mean, you know what? Is there more pressure on France in this game than there is in Great Britain, or is there more pressure on Great Britain?
Absolutely, there is more pressure on France. I mean, for France not to make it to the gold medal game would be, I think, a huge disappointment for the French fans, for the French Federation, for basketball in France. GB have absolutely nothing to lose. We know that they're already moving on to that Olympic qualification tournament in February. They've already made history for GB basketball, not just women's basketball, but basketball in Great Britain. I mean, you saw them yesterday in practice, how relaxed they were and enjoying themselves and really just taking in the moment almost, where, you know, France, I guess you could say in typical French fashion, were very serious, not a lot of laughs, not a lot of jokes going on. I mean, clearly the best team here, I would say, is France from a individual standpoint. They have a much deeper bench than Great Britain, but it's always scary when you play a team who has nothing to lose.
Well, Chima Butheta, his team was indeed relaxed when they came out. They came out with a boombox. You could hear the music coming around the corner, and you're like, what's that? There's a party going on. And as the music got louder and louder, and you saw a horde of people, all of a sudden you saw the Brits walk onto the court, and they were just having a great time. I wouldn't say that France were looking like they're a team too much under pressure, to be honest. They were pretty relaxed themselves yesterday, but really, France have been in this position before. A lot of these players, especially like the Sandrine Grudas, the Valley Yahis, the Indy Miams, so that experience will be valuable, but all bets are off for this Great Britain team. Valerie Garnier knows she respects every opponent that France come up against. They're just one bad performance away from losing a big game, and they've got to be supremely focused against a team. This Great Britain team probably feels like it's a team of destiny, the way things have worked out for them here in this EuroBasket Women. So we're going to have a pause for the playing of the national anthems. Wow, what a great moment here. Huge occasion, really. It never gets old for any of the players. France, you know, some of their players have been in these situations before, and it never gets old. They love it. And for Great Britain, you know, it's kind of like you have to keep pinching yourself and realize this is actually happening. You know, if you follow the travails of British basketball over the years, there's some really committed people to making the game better there. You know, and yet there's a distinct lack of support that is constantly harped on. You know, this has been a message tournament to anybody in Great Britain that is listening that basketball should have a foothold in that country. And there are a lot of committed people making it work. They just need some help to get to the highest level. So for France, a talented team. Obviously at the London Olympics, everybody will remember they reached the final, the silver medal game. The referees for today's Osman Yalman in the middle, Gentin Cici from Albania on the left, and Zdinko Tomašević from Slovakia on the right. And it's just a huge occasion, really. You know, the stakes are high. You think France are under more pressure? People I've been talking to in Great Britain are saying this is not a great matchup for us. So we'll see if Great Britain can again pull off a surprise. Their roster?
Yeah, I mean, Georgia Jones came in, played well for them in that last game. Van der Waal, Handy hit some big, big shots. Joe Leedham did a little bit of everything, but what about Temi Fagbenli?
Yeah.
There you see the starting lineup: Van der Waal, Handy, Leedham, Fagbenli, and Samuelson. I forgot to mention her. Really, they had everyone contribute for Great Britain to get to the semifinal today.
Fagbenli has, I mean, I got to be honest, she would get my vote for the MVP of the tournament at this point. The stats do not lie in this case. She has been utterly sensational. 29 points, 13 of 22. And smart as a whip. Went to Harvard. Can you imagine that? Balancing the books and studying there, that would have been something else, wouldn't it? And also finished up at USC in Southern California, Los Angeles, another good school. But France, a who's who roster. Olivia Epupa, I don't think she gets enough credit, but she was, in my opinion, the difference in that final night, in that final few minutes against Belgium, helping them beat Belgium. Her hounding defense on Julie Allemand was second to none.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, Sandrine Gruda,
There you go.
Indy Mia, Mapupa, Ayayi, and Bria Hartley in the starting five, and Gruda was almost unstoppable the other night.
Gruda had the best game she has ever had in a France jersey. So that tells you a little something, considering she's played in 185 games. 185 caps for her country, and she was absolute. Look at that, 33 points, a career high for her, 10 rebounds, 11 of 15. I mean, she did it on 15 shots. She was unbelievable. She was unstoppable.
Chima Butheta,
The calmest coach I've ever.
he coached Spain at the Olympics in '92, and yeah, his approach is, listen, I got some smart players. I don't need to pile too much pressure on them. Hence the relaxed approach, I think, at the start of practice yesterday. Sports psychologist as well, Chima, and Valerie Garnier, one of the most experienced coaches in the game. Took over from Pierre Vincent, who was the longtime coach of France and Bourges. And
she was under him, under Pierre Vincent, so a little bit of her style, you can tell she has learned from the great Pierre Vincent.
That's right. He led him to the title in 2009. And that was in Riga. That was unforgettable. And obviously the silver medal at the London Olympics. So Sandrine Gruda, one of the most famous players in Europe, really, for the past decade, will be jumping center against Temi Fagbenli. Well, hello, everybody. Good evening, or good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're watching this. We are in Belgrade, Serbia, and this is the first semifinal of the FIBA Women's EuroBasket 2019. France in white attacking the basket to the right on your screen, and the ball goes inside to Sandrine Gruda, and the pump fake gets Fagbenli off her feet, and a foul.
And, you know, you saw Fagbenli there talking to the ref because I actually think, you know, you have that plane, and as a defender, you're allowed to also jump within that plane as long as you know, you don't go over, your arms don't move. So I understand her maybe, you know, chatting a little bit to the ref about why was that a call? I went straight up. Yeah.
You often reward the offensive player for attacking, I think. And I thought that was a pretty intelligent play by Gruda, but nevertheless, you're right. The defender can go straight up with the arms up, and should be a call. I'd have to see it again. Carly Samuelson played her college basketball at Stanford. Oh, beautiful pass. What a play to start for Great Britain. Now France, Ayayi. Pupa guarded by Vanderwall. Now Andy getting a hand in the face of Mia. Hartley, who hit the game-tying three-pointer the other night, and a charge has been called against Bria Hartley. Good position by Carly Samuelson.
Yeah, I agree. Great positioning by Carly Samuelson. She just kind of stuck her ground, and Bria Hartley sort of, there you saw the beautiful pass by Samuelson to Vanderwall. She stood her ground.
So Samuelson making plays on both ends of the floor for Great Britain already. The pass that leads to the basket and then draws the charge. Samuelson gives it to Fagbinley, who goes in and is pushed. So she gets one back on Gruda now, and
she almost should have gone up with that shot because she'd be shooting 2 free throws right now. Instead, when the call was happening, she went to the pass. So kind of one of those, you know, learning moments. You feel like you're going to get a foul call, you need to try and shoot it so you get to the line.
Joe Leadham.
And I think Ayayi actually touched the ball.
Well, she touched the ball before it was released. That's a technical, isn't it? Or was she not giving enough room? Is that what he's saying?
So I'm not sure if the Joe Leadham, the pass, like she had it past the line.
Yeah. Well, she gets it in this time to Samuelson, and Samuelson hits the jump shot, and look at the emotion. This is a huge moment for British basketball, folks. And Pupa, Indy Mia. Now inside to Gruda. She's been able to get one foul on Fagbinley already. Now she gets it again, and she puts up the baseline jumper, and Andy comes in and gets the ball over to Leadham. Leadham left open, a little bit too hard, and Samuelson challenged on the rebound, almost got it back, but here comes the Pupa. Bria Hartley left open on the right. And Leadham with the rebound, up ahead, handy released early, and Great Britain go in front 6-2. And Valerie Garnier has seen enough. She wants to stop this run.
What was disappointing, I mean, great pass by Joe Leadham. Good job, Handy, running the floor, but Bria Hartley shot the ball in the corner, and no one got back on defense for them. And, you know, Bria Hartley was the last person down, and she was the furthest one away from getting back on defense. So that's just, I would say, a little uncharacteristic from France.
Great Britain 3 of 4 from the floor. France 0 for 2.
Okay, qué dudas. Ladies, focus. Stop the fast break. Box out. Remember that. Okay, let's go.
3 assists for Great Britain, 1 for France. Bria Hartley with the miss, and Leadham quickly pushed up, and look at Andy, was off sprinting and got ahead on the break. Andy, maybe a little underrated as well, the way she played against Hungary the other day.
But you know, keep in mind, Handy's a Euro Cup player.
Yeah.
She's played on some good pro teams and good leagues. So
played at Marshall.
Yeah, she's had a great career. She was there in 2012 in the Olympics for them.
Oh, an air ball. Ball goes out of bounds.
And that's kind of one of the worst things as a coach, I can imagine. I'll let you know. Coming out of a timeout, I'm sure Coach Garnier talks about defense, but then also talks about what we're going to run on offense. And for you to come out and shoot an air ball?
Yeah, you got to handle that pass and lead them. They don't know each other. Here's Leadham. Van der Waal open. That's off to the right. Good defense by France. Now Hartley. And the dump to Gruda. And Gruda. I think technically, I don't know if she may have touched that.
She was definitely straight up that time, though.
Leadham. Maybe a favorable matchup for her, but she gets it over to Handy from the left corner. Great Britain will put up their share of three-pointers. Good hands by Fagbenley. I guess they always teach you hands up, don't they? Because you're going to get in the way of those passes.
Yeah, kind of slow, you know, ball goes out of bounds, it's all right.
Oh, they find a Poopa down low. She missed it, but then she follows up and misses again. Layup misses. And Van der Waal has to watch. Might have thrown her elbow there, and she just scores with a runner.
A little floater by Van der Waal, who I would say offensively maybe didn't have her best game in the quarterfinals.
Traveling the call on Ayayi, yet she made some big plays. Didn't she finish with double-double in assists? Points and assists. Here's Ayayi called for the walk. Well, Great Britain had the poor start against Hungary, but turned it around pretty quickly. But here they are with a good start against France. Samuelson may have had a reverse layup that she passed up. She's going to take a three instead. Poopa hands it off to Hartley for three. France starting cold. And again, the ball goes over to Great Britain. Serbia will be playing later tonight. Look at the hustle. Poopa's got pretty good hops, doesn't she, for the point guard?
She's the shortest player typically always out there, and she's one of the best offensive rebounding guards I have seen play. She has hops, first of all, but secondly, she just has this tenacity. I mean, you see it defensively when she's playing, especially on the ball.
Well, we've seen Shona already, I think, a Poopa really extending the defense. We've seen Ayayi, now Hartley comes out, and Johannes has checked in. So France are really getting out man-to-man. There might be some backdoor cuts available. And here's Fagbenley, drives in, follows up the miss, and the ball batted out to Johannes.
And wouldn't you just, as well as all the French basketball fans, love to see Johannes have a great game here?
Absolutely. Good block by Handy. Good length. Now Great Britain running, and Van der Waal lays it up and in, and Great Britain looking like the more composed team right now.
Like I said, it's a lot easier to play when you don't feel any pressure and you enjoy being with each other.
And Van der Waal called for foul, and at some point, I guess it'll probably be maybe another couple minutes, but we'll see some subs come in for Great Britain.
I mean, you know, Jeff, you and I don't know the ins and outs, but when you see this GB basketball team, they just seem to enjoy being around each other. They enjoy playing for each other. They enjoy making the sacrifice to be with each other on the national team.
Poopa drives into the lane, puts it up with the left hand, misses, and Gruda then misses with a putback again and again. And for some reason, France leading the competition now in missed putbacks when they were wide open. Look at Poopa making life misery, and that is, Leadham is appealing to the referee, but Poopa is so dangerous defensively.
She is incredibly quick. Her feet are quick, her hands are quick. Basically, if you're France, someone else has to bring the ball up. It can't be the person who Poopa is guarding.
A terrific pass. Now Handy left open. That's good. The three-pointer. And the confidence is soaring for Great Britain. France have got to start making some of these layups. They're going to be in a hole here. Already in a hole. This time, Gruda catches it in the lane and goes up for the layup. Leadham. Oh, a little bit of a Euro step. I think she's forcing it a little bit, Joe Leadham. And then Apupa dumps it again to Gruda, and then she misses yet again.
A little uncharacteristic, I think, all these missed by France so far early in this game. And maybe that's nerves, because I think they have had good looks.
Here is Samuelson missing from deep. And Becca might think about getting a timeout.
I mean, Sandrine Gruda is 1 for 6. She was 11 of 15 the other night.
Well, Charteroux walks. And so Gruda's going to come out, and Ian, who checked out, is going to come back in. That's a weird one. You saw the stats there, and Andy with that. Sheridan Green checks into the game for Great Britain as well. Probably some coaches out here looking at these British girls and thinking, wow, some big players. Also Simpson in now in the backcourt. And Van der Waal pulls up and goes right at Charteroux, but misses, and now at Pupa. Johannes from behind the arc. Van der Waal. And that'll be called a jump ball, so it'll be Great Britain ball. The possession arrow. Andreas Zaklis, the Secretary General of FIBA, sitting in midcourt next to tour guide Demirel, FIBA Europe president. Also Kamil Novak, the FIBA Europe regional director. Van der Waal, brought her by Pupa, and now a foul called on Indy Miam for a push.
And you know, we've seen a great start by this this GB basketball team so far.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah.
Nudged her.
And she
forearm.
had, yeah, exactly. Her forearm was on her when the pass was going. Maybe it wasn't as hard as it looked, but my only, I think, the bigger weakness, you know, especially between these two teams, is the bench. I think France has a lot stronger bench.
Well, Jones just comes off the bench, and just like against Hungary, doesn't waste any time putting up a shot. But
So,
this time misses.
Yeah, I just wonder if the bench players can keep this momentum going for GB.
Well, that ball goes off of Charteroux and over to Great Britain. And yeah, I think this is a dangerous part for Great Britain with Van der Waal not in the game. Hartley, though, called for a hold. And very frustrated France team.
You know, we saw Bria Hartley, that's her, I believe there you see, second foul.
Yeah.
We saw her foul out against Belgium. It was in the overtime period. So
Samuelson goes out.
Keep in mind, she was the person who hit that dagger of a 3 that I think the Belgian players and Belgian fans will possibly have nightmares about. I mean, they did make up for it today.
Simpson has it, is able to inbound it to Fagbinley. Now to Joe Leadham. And over to Jones. Doesn't hesitate, rattles out.
There is no hesitation by all of these GB players, and I think that has to do with the coaching staff, giving them all confidence.
And finally, Charteroux drills a three-pointer for France. What she's known for, Charteroux, with that 3 and cutting the deficit back to 6 points. Sends him back to Leadham, who spent many years playing for EuroBasket, the French Giants, and they're not going to get a shot off here. So France's defense starting to not give away many opportunities. And Garnier is really going deep to the bench
I was just
early.
about to say, you know, we see Marie Photo, check into the game, number 4. You saw Chartreuse 3 there. Bancolet has just checked in. These are 2 players who didn't even play in the quarterfinals against Belgium.
And the drive and the miss, but Indy Meehan sneaks in there and gets the rebound. Those 2. And this time it was a great play by Sheridan Green to get it. And she's going to go up hard and score. So the athleticism of Green and the savvy.
She's kind of that unpolished, athletic post player right now.
She is, but look at this, and now the hustle from Joe Leadham. And saves it back, but into the path of Johannes, who's going to go all the way in. So that ended up working to France's benefit. And Great Britain running up and down the floor quickly. Now Leadham. And Leadham getting the contact.
Might have been close to
unsportsmanlike.
Unsportsmanlike.
And so too. But they haven't called that. So that was a nice response. Here it is again. Here's Johannes. Remember, she really had a breakout year in 2016 for France at the FIBA Women's Olympic qualifying tournament in Nantes, and then went to Rio and had a big tournament. She's had some struggles in this tournament. Joe Leadham.
She hasn't been the same player that we've seen and got to know.
Joe Leadham's first is no good. One of their best players, I think, in 2012. She makes the second. She's from Merseyside. Johannes, the final 15 seconds ticking off the clock here.
Great Britain has fouls to use.
Will they use one? Well, Johannes is going to launch it from 3. Good! Well, that was big. And Jones gets it up.
And those are one of those situations. They just said they have fouls to give. You foul, you don't let this happen.
Well, Great Britain could have used a foul. They didn't. It'll be interesting to see if Chima Buteta says anything in between the quarters here. But Great Britain lead at 16-12 after 1.
Take a quick look at stats. 13% compared to 60%. I mean, really, that's a game changer right there.
Well, France and Great Britain had faced each other at the Women's EuroBasket back in 2013, a game that France, who were hosting that tournament, won it 79-47. And this is the 10th semifinal for France in a EuroBasket, and the 6th in a row since 2009 when they won it in Latvia. So that's their best current run. And this is the first semifinal for Great Britain in a major tournament, whether it's a EuroBasket, Olympics, or the World Cup.
Incredible. I mean, really, that's kind of the thing that people are talking about, that basketball fans, especially fans in England, in Great Britain, sorry, who want to see a little bit more funding and see what, you know, possibly Great Britain could do on the international stage. But without funding, nothing is possible.
Just makes it harder. Here's Fotu. And Garnier again over to Johannes, and that's 2 in a row. Well, we've been waiting for Johannes to heat up, and it looks like she has. And that's not good for Great Britain. Now Jones, Great Britain now with just a 1-point lead. And now the pressure and by Johannes. Suddenly playing like the Marine Johannes.
we all expected.
That we all expected. How long will Butheta keep Van der Waal out of the game? I was thinking it was going to be a Pupa who would be causing all the problems.
Or, I mean, you know, even Ruda. Then again, you know, coming off a 33-point performance, it's hard to do that in back-to-back games.
Here she gives Johannes again. Boy, that would have brought the house down if she'd made that. And out the turnover, Johannes again in the open floor. No look pass. France have taken the lead. So Leadham bounce pass to Green. Sheridan Green is fouled and will get a couple of free throws. Green takes her time, makes the first. Of course, Samuelson's back in the game now, as well as Handy and Van der Waal. For anybody, I mean, if you don't know, she played at Tennessee. The Lady Vols, one of the traditional powerhouses in American college basketball, women's basketball. So that speaks to her pedigree or potential, however you want to put it. Johannes has that look right now, like she just wants to shoot everything. Indy Meehan goes up and misses. Good defense by Leadham. Leadham cuts back to her left, over to Handy in the corner. Handy baseline, beautiful bounce pass to Green. And Green is able to get it up. I thought she was tied up there for a second.
I mean, but what great court awareness and knowing where the basket is.
Wow. Absolutely.
And this is great that Green is playing.
Indy Meehan over to Fotu. That's a long one. I just thought Indy Meehan had a shot there. A good hustle by France to get the ball back. Bankole. Another long one from Johannes. And Green not able to get the rebound, but the ball saved and bounced to Leadham, and it might lead to a break here for Great Britain. She goes right down the lane. She gets rejected by Johannes, but into the hands of Van der Waal. Handy. Over to Van der Waal, now back to Leadham. Pump fake, goes baseline, uses her body well, but then misses the shot. Green kept it alive, and here comes Fotu for France. Very quickly into transition, wide open Johannes on the left corner. And another offensive rebound for France, and Johannes this time scores with a reverse. I mean, it is like not even close. She's not only playing her best game of the tournament, she might be playing her best ever game in a France shirt right now, Johannes. She looks like she's possessed.
She does. You know, I think she was clearly frustrated the last 2 games, and she has 10 points off the bench for them.
Now Green has the ball knocked away, and look who has it. It's Johannes. Samuelson guarding her. I don't think there's any chance that Johannes is coming out of the game while she's playing like this. She's playing like an MVP.
I mean, I hope not. You know,
That was a terrific block by Johannes. Look at that.
You got to keep her in. You got to stay with her while she's hot.
Oh, good play, but Johannes trying to do a little bit too much there, and then reaches in and fouls Samuelson, who helps Johannes up. So perhaps a break for GB. .640 remaining. Remember, these two teams already in the FIBA Women's Olympic qualifying tournaments. So we play next year. Fagbenley back in, and she's going to go to the basket. Note, she tries to kick it back out, and Johannes comes up with a steal. No look pass to a Pupa, and France back in front. Defense is playing tough right now. Samuelson over to Handy. That's good. Three-pointer.
And you know, when you kind of think France is playing good defense, they're getting touches on passes, to nail down a dagger of a three, it's deflating, especially when you think you're playing good D.
Well, Johannes once again just sails in for a layup.
I mean, that was uncontested. There was no defense. I think it was a little bit of a breakdown.
Samuelson over to Fagbenley. Finds her way in the lane and is fouled and will take 2 shots. I'll tell you right now, it's kind of like Johannes has been so good. It's almost like Valerie Garnier in France are surfing Marine Johannes, the crest of the wave. And who's coming in now? They're taking her out while she's red hot. Chantal Handy, that was her three-pointer, the go-ahead three-pointer. Needham takes a break.
Yayi and Sarah Chauvigeon checking into the game.
Fagbenley not having it all her own way so far in this game, like she did against Hungary. 15 of France's points have come from the bench. And of course, 12 of those coming from Johannes. Here's a Pupa. Beautiful pass. And Sandrine Gruda fouled by Van der Waal. Ooh, yeah, you can see why the French fans were asking to have that looked at for unsportsmanlike, and they are going to look at it. So let's listen up.
I'm checking excessive or not. This is excessive. C2, yes.
So it was called the unsportsmanlike foul for being excessive, which I agree with.
Contact.
And this means 2 shots for Sandrine Gruda and possession for France. And this is a rather important moment of the game.
And you know, Sandrine Gruda is not someone that you want to put on the free throw line. She was 11 and 12 in the game against Belgium in the quarterfinals from the free throw line.
And for Van der Waal, checking her foul count. She's got 2 fouls. Yes, indeed, she's got 2 fouls, so that's a key stat as well. Here's Gruda. And Fagbenley almost had that ball taken away. In fact, she did, and she was lucky that Great Britain got it back. The ball went kindly.
That was a Pupa chasing down the rebound.
It's Monacana in the game now. Janice Monacana picked up the ball. Here's the ball to Fagbenley and catches it, and she's going to be tough to stop if she catches it there. So back to 25 apiece. Oh, almost a terrific catch. Well, Gruda did control it in the end. A Pupa over. This is a good shooter, and Monacana with the rebound. Cheverjon missing from the left. Samuelson open, so she's going to put one up and nail it. Three-pointer. Well, this is going back and forth.
It is, but it's weird to me because you can't get hung up on a screen like that. You got to go over screens against a good shooter, and I thought Cheverjon should know that. I mean, this is the, what, 5th game of the tournament for GB?
Yeah, they played 3 in the group, and then the qualification for the quarterfinal.
In the quarterfinal, so they had 5 games to scout. Guess what? Samuelson is a 3-point shooter.
Vanderwall launches it from deep, and she nails the 3, and all of a sudden the lead goes back to 6 for Great Britain. And Valerie Garnier decides, let's stop this run in its tracks. Let's call a timeout. Samuelson, Cheverjon
went under. You don't go under on a 3-point shooter. And then good job by Vanderwall stepping up and knocking down that 3, because Ipupa is helping off because of that woman right there, Fag Benley, who is so dangerous if she catches near the paint.
Ça switch, on fait la passe devant et on va trouver des avantages puisqu'elle switch qu'à 2. D'accord? On peut jouer l'auteur, mais ça nous laisse des grands espaces de drive.
12 of those points for France off the bench coming from Johannes.
Okay, Carly, cutting like that.
And that just shows you Great Britain like to get out and run. 11 fast break points.
Santander and see them inside. Okay, if not, you
Did you think there? Look at Johannes' numbers. She's been terrific, and maybe maybe the most important.
And 2 assists.
And this is some of her work. Did you detect a certain discontent from the French crowd when they pulled Johannes out of the game?
I mean, you're down 6. She's playing good. She's young.
She's got a smile on her face again.
I know you want to keep people fresh if you can. Games are long. Both these teams are going to be playing in a game tomorrow as well, but I would kind of ride her.
Cheverjon, unmolested, takes it right down the lane.
And that's a couple, I mean, that's not the first wide open layup that France has got, and I think it's just breakdown defensively by GB.
Entry pass to Fagbenley. She's going to go right at Gruda and gets it back, puts it up again, and Gruda blocks her. Well, Gruda looked more formidable than Hattar of Hungary did. Here she is on the baseline. Gruda steps to her left. And great hustle for both, but Vanderwall has picked up foul number 3. That is a huge, huge development for Great Britain, and she's going to come out, and I think Great Britain are going to have some problems now. These are the big minutes for Steph Collins coming in.
And you know, really what we've seen so far, though, whoever Ipupa is guarding, that person's not bringing the ball up. Samuelson's bringing it up, Handy's bringing it up. So Steph Collins isn't going to have the pressure of having to play full court one-on-one with one of the best defenders in the game. Okay, so now Carly Samuelson has a couple of fouls, and she's going to come out. So Lita comes back in. She can handle the ball. And Gruda gets it at the line. Hands it over to Chartereau and hits a three-pointer. It's a good basketball game. Oh, look at that. Ipupa almost taking the pass away from Collins. I tell you cannot fall asleep on Ipupa at any time. No, I mean, she's the one who Vanderwall was forced to pick up her 3rd foul because of her. Wow, Monacana for 3. Where did that come from? You know, keep in mind, both these teams are leading this tournament in field goal percentage. And Monacana comes up with a steal, but stepped out of bounds. France are shooting 45%. Great Britain are shooting 42.8% at this EuroBasket tournament, and France does have the best shooting percentage from behind the arc at just under 40%, 39.5.
Well, Monicana came into this having hit 1 of 5. She hit one in the opening game against Latvia, so it's not like she can't make that shot, as she just reminded us. Here's Gruda going hard to the basket. Oh boy, that was a tough one. Gruda just showing her
why she is
ability to play on both ends of the floor against a very good Temi Fekbenli. Leadham was losing it. Over to another three-point attempt. That was by Green. Long rebound out to Monicana. Leadham tries to throw it over Apupa, and I'll tell you, it's just not a good idea to throw it anywhere near Apupa. And then Johannes just takes it the other way and ties it up. I think she causes so many problems defensively, Apupa, for opponents. She might be the best defender in this whole competition. Fekbenli gets it down low, but has to pass it back out. And she does, and a hard shot from Sheridan Green. A little bit too hard off the back of the rim and backboard.
I mean, Sandrine Gruda is a good defender one-on-one, but France are also bringing over someone else as soon as Fekbenli is trying to make a move towards the basket.
So we're going over in the corner. Johannes rather. And Fekbenli, oh, did she pass it to herself?
I don't know. All I know is you can't dribble or be casual if Pupa is anywhere within, I would say, almost 5 meters of you.
Well, I think she's going to go out of the game, and they'll breathe a sigh of relief, Great Britain, for that, because she is a menace, a pest. And I say that as a compliment. Jeff Collins inbounds it, so Great Britain can take it down to about maybe 10 seconds and then try to get into something. They don't want France to have the last shot. They get it to Simpson. She's going to launch it from deep. And now Fekbenli gets it and then takes a shot in a hurry. Fotu throws it up from a long way out. And I think Fekbenli thought she didn't have as much time. She rushed it. So at the end of the first half, it's a thriller, folks. It's a hard-fought 34-34 game. It's game on, man. We'll be telling you some stats here in just a second, but 34-34.
There we go. All right, I mean, Great Britain, good job from the two-point range, 44%. Both teams shooting okay from free throws. I mean, Great Britain's an 87% free throw shooter, and they're only shooting 50% in this game. There you see the 8 offensive rebounds, which I think is causing a little bit of trouble. Both teams sharing the ball really well. 11 assists for France, 12 for Great Britain. There you see Joanna's 14 points. Vanderwall doing great for GB with 9. Handy and Gruda each with 8 apiece, and Green and Chartereau each with 6 apiece. Really, I mean, I think here you'll see a fast break by Green. Great Britain did an excellent job of forcing France into 8 turnovers, but those turnovers led to fast breaks. And really, I think GB were at their best when they were running. They were able to finish. They were able to get some good shots, good looks early. France picked up their defense there, especially at the end of the first, in the second quarter. And I think started to cause some difficulty for GB on the offensive end, which led to France, I think, getting good looks. But for me, the game changer and the momentum changer was when Marine Joannes checked into the game. She finished that half with 14 points. And the crazy thing is she only played 12 minutes. So that's a pretty good stat line, 14 points in 12 minutes. 6-12 shooting, 2 assists. but 4 steals. So I think, you know, it was surprising that Valerie, I think she maybe should have just left her in, and I could see France being maybe up had Joanna stayed in the game instead of coming out for a good stretch, and she checked it back in at the end. But really, I thought it was nice to see Joanna's play like we all expect, and we have seen for the last couple of years from her. She had a smile. She was kind of doing her thing.
Yeah, it really was the Johannes, and it's kind of because you started to get worried that maybe she'd lost that magic, and she has rediscovered it in this game. And I guess Great Britain is the team that she needed to come out and show her best. Sometimes matchups are the way you go, and certainly Sandrine Gruda has made life difficult for Temi Fekmanli.
Especially defensively,
I mean,
yeah.
both of them have made life difficult for each other, in all honesty, because Gruda is 2 of 9 from the floor.
Yeah.
But she does have 8 points. She's 4-4 at the line with 5 rebounds. But Fagbenley has 5 rebounds and 3 assists to go with her 2 points.
Yeah.
So you kind of get the feeling that, you know, France have maybe gotten to grips with this, and it's going to be hard for Great Britain in this second half. But, you know, maybe, especially with Van der Waal as well now with 3 fouls. But if Great Britain can somehow get Fagbenley going and maybe get a little bit more offensively from Samuelson, maybe somebody steps up and starts hitting some threes, whether it's Samuelson, whether it's Jones,
Joe Leadham.
whether it's Joe Leadham,
Yeah.
whether it's Handy, you know, they'll have a chance. So we're at the break. It's 34-34, and we'll be right back before the start of the second half. puts it up and makes it, and they have got the wind in their sails. Spain. Messina brings it across midcourt, and she takes the bump, and she's going to get a three-point play opportunity.
That's a tough big by Lucina.
Carpio. Oh, no-look pass. Nice finish by Rahman. Well, that was well done by Carpio. Bagbenley going to take on Hattar. What a move to the basket.
So far, Bagbenley has been able to score anywhere on the court against this Hungarian defense.
The Yayi for three. Oh, it rims out. Messman knocks out to Hartley. She takes a three. She hits it. She has tied the contest.
Well, Marine Johannes, 14 points, 6 of 12 from the floor, 4 steals. She has been absolutely terrific today off the bench, and really, you know, I think her performance shown with this game knotted at 34 apiece. This bodes well for the future, not just if they win tonight. You know, this gives them a huge lift going into tomorrow, whoever they play.
Yeah, I think if I'm France, this is kind of the best thing you wanted to see was Joanna's get going. Because, you know, she hasn't played like we all expected, like we thought she would coming into this tournament. And to see her smile, to see her do what she does so well, and that's score the basketball, and she's crafty. And once she starts scoring, she also is an excellent passer, and she's able to find her teammates, which we saw here in the first half. So a little bit, I would say uncharacteristic start maybe from a Bria Hartley standpoint, but you know what? They didn't need her because Joanna's did great. Ayayi's been a little bit of a non-factor.
That's kind of the nature of basketball, isn't it? I mean, some games, some players are going to be more influential than others, but I think Johannes is a different bird all the way around because she's a special talent. And they're going to need her if they're going to do something. She's become the first player in EuroBasket 2019 combining for 2+ rebounds, 2+ assists, 2+ steals, and 2+ blocks while coming from the bench and also having a big performance, shooting the ball.
Yeah, so, I mean, that right there, to be the first player to do something like that, clearly shows what kind of a special player Marine Johannes is. And, I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Valerie decides to start her in this second half, because I just thought she was magical. She was enjoyable to watch. But you know what? We keep talking about how well Johannes has been. The score is tied. And I'm not sure how many people would have bet that GB would be 34-34 after 20 minutes. They've played great. I think Vanderwall has done a good job. Other people have stepped up and knocked down shots.
8
Chantel
points,
Handy,
her best so far in the EuroBasket. And we're only at halftime.
So really, I mean, they're not backing down. And like I said, they have nothing to lose. So why not them? Why not now? Why not GB basketball?
Second half action underway. Bria Hartley back in the lineup for France, and Fagbinley driving in and again encountering a very pesky Sandrine Gruda, who defensively has really showed her class, her quality in this game.
Things haven't necessarily gone easily for her offensively. She's missed some easy looks, but she's made up for them defensively. Because I really think she did a good job of frustrating Fagbinley.
Well, Fagbinley just missed a shot she's been hitting, and now Andy Meehan comes out and strokes at 3. 5-point swing. Here's Fagbinley out to lead him. Thought about launching it. Now back inside to Fagbinley. Again, she encounters Gruda, who just is really just almost destroying her now on defense.
And it just...
And now Fagbinley gets her own back.
I think what...
Well, they called a foul in the wing. The referee underneath the basket did not, but here is... Yeah, she got her in the face. That's a good call.
I think what Sandrine Gruda is doing defensively so well is it's as though, Gruda watched a lot of game film and knows what Fagbinley wants to do, and Gruda is talented enough, smart enough, athletic enough to stop Fagbinley in the low post.
Trying to make 1 of 2, and the ball nevertheless batted out, I think, by Indy Meehan. So Bria Hartley has it. France retain possession. Now Indy Meehan goes up with another 3. Severjon reaches in and takes it away from Leadham. And offensive rebounds giving the French more chances. Fagbinley got crossed up there. Another offensive rebound, and the ball goes off of Fagbinley and out of bounds. It'll be French basketball. They've had about 5 attempts after the missed free throw.
There you see offensive rebounds, 11 for France, 4 for Great Britain.
Johannes for 3, it's online, but it's a little bit short, and that was, wow. It looked like Gruda might have come over the back of Fagbinley, but nevertheless, the ball falls to Indy Mien. She scores and is fouled on the play, and all of a sudden, France, you see, that's probably a good no call. I mean, it looks almost a little bit like Fagbinley is now a little tired.
I don't know if physically she's tired. I think she's, again, another miss by France at the free throw line. I think she's getting frustrated because she cannot get anything going, really. You could see the frustration on Fagbinley's face.
Yeah. Well, let's see if somebody else can get something going for Great Britain. It's against a really good defense right now, and Chavajon just a needless foul that far away from the basket.
With 1.9 seconds on the clock.
So that's a break for Great Britain. A smart play by Vito. Kind of in the game. Carlos Samuelson fakes, pulls up in the lane, and doesn't get it to go down. Gruda hits it out of bounds.
And good job by Gruda there. She knew that she wasn't in rebounding position, and had she not played, Fagbinley would have got a rebound and a putback easily, but smart enough, Gruda knew, okay, I can get a hand on it, I'm just gonna hit it out of bounds.
Samuelson again, feeling her away, looking at the lane. This is to Fagbinley again, going up against Gruda. This time she turns to her left and she scores, and she is going to the line for a potential three-point play. Well, maybe now Fagbinley has figured something out.
It's not coming as easily as it has in other games for Fagbinley.
By the way, Gruda, with her 3 blocks, well, she doesn't convert it. With her 3 blocks has equaled her career high in EuroBaskets. She's had 3 blocks before. It's the 3rd time in her 50 appearances with France in the competition that she's come up with 3 blocks, so she might set a record tonight. Oh, nice pass, Leadham. Well, nice idea anyway. Leadham fakes it and then goes in and held it beautifully and scored to cut it back to a 2-point game. She kind of hesitated, not only to get a better shot, but almost maybe to get some contact as well. She was hoping to get a foul. Johannes over to Indy Mien. And Mien is just showing her quality tonight as well. That's good for France. She has 7 points, 3 of 8 from the floor. Samuelson. And a bump. I don't know if that's on Mien or Gruda.
I think it might be on Chavajon.
Oh, another. Let's see. This was Indy Mien at the other end with the fadeaway jumper. Montana goes out, and Chantel Handy comes back in. And it was on Chavajon. Fagbinley on the baseline. Johannes with the board. Hartley races in, couldn't quite get there. It's going to be Britain ball. France already with more offensive rebounds than in any of their last 3 games. They had 10 against Montenegro and 8 against Sweden and Belgium. So that's pretty good numbers against this British front line, really.
You know what it is? I think the experience between Gruda and Fagbinley is coming out right now, and Gruda's been in these games before. Fagbinley is incredibly talented, but
Samuelson launches it just at the end of the shot clock, and Chavajon nudges Leadham while boxing her out. They're not going to look. She's wanting them to look. at the replay, but that is not one where they will look. Watch this. Well, I think Leadham did a good job of selling that.
What I was saying about Fag-Bentley, the difference between Fag-Bentley and Gruda is, you know, Fag-Bentley is very talented. I know she's 26 years old, but she still has a lot of growth for improvement. And Gruda just plays at a different level, a different intensity, a different aggressiveness. And I think that comes from experience and being at such a high level for so long.
Well, Johannes punishes Great Britain. The last inbounds pass, they tried to throw it to Fag-Bentley. He didn't come up with the catch and turned it over, and France capitalized by going down and getting the jumper. Well, Leadham has to launch one, and really the British offense is struggling right now, almighty, in an almighty way, whereas France looking far better. Leah Hartley stroking the three. And France have now opened up a 9-point advantage.
I mean,
That's the last three.
you know, Jeff, you and I did the last game for France versus Belgium, and how fun is France to watch when Marie Johannes is given an opportunity, plays with confidence.
Okay. So don't hesitate. So let's play two balls. Chantal there, Amy here, and then Rach, you shoot with Carly there. Okay, Haley there in the corner. So
C'est exactement ça. Trouver des solutions, des passes, en attaque.
let's try, Olivia.
Hey, on part sur un cap. Pour Marie ici, un cap. D'accord? Tu peux switcher, là, tu peux faire la passe et passe-retour. D'accord? Allez, les mecs, allez.
Well, on this evidence, France are going to be tough to beat the remainder of the way. Unless they lose their concentration, this is going to be extremely tough work for Great Britain. I don't anticipate that happening. Van der Waal, France have come out playing with a lot of fire. Well, Andy comes out and strokes a three, and Jeff was talking about spreading the court and getting some good looks. So Handy comes out as a badly needed three-pointer. If you can hit the three-point shot, in all honesty, you're never out of the game. But they've got to get stops and rebounds at this end.
Yeah, exactly.
Indy Miem open. And Samuelson doing a good job of knocking the ball away from Chartereau. On the wall with the three fouls, guarded by Pupa. Samuelson, shot clock winding down, and Johannes or Chartereau with the reach, the bump.
And you know, if right now we have GB are going to be shooting a bonus for 4 minutes, 16 seconds left. One of the best ways to get back into the game when you're down is to be aggressive, and especially if you're in bonus, get to the free throw line, stop the clock, and have the opportunity to score. So if GB can stay aggressive for this last 4 minutes, 15 seconds, they might be able to narrow the lead of France going into the fourth quarter.
Well, that was a good start with this time Fag-Bentley making both free throws. And France 5 of 7 from the line. Great Britain improving in that regard with those two. They have really been struggling at the line. Miem, soft touch at the line, scores again. Great Britain now 5 of 9 at the free throw line. And now Miem has 11 points. And Rhea Hartley, excellent hustle. Runs past the cameraman and knocks his headset off. The cameraman was in great position right there, but then he realized something was going to happen. Whoa, really good pressure on Fagman. This would be a great time for Fagmanley to get going with Gruda out of the game. Shot clock winding down. Simpson puts up a wild shot with the shot clock winding down, and Meehan grabs the rebound. Pupa quickly up the floor to Hartley. Johannes makes a great catch. Looked like that ball was headed out of bounds. Now she puts it up, front and back of the rim, and another offensive rebound for France. And they turn it into points to the Pupa. 13 of their 34 rebounds are on the offensive glass for France. And it is a real problem for Great Britain.
Yeah, and they have 9 second chance points
Fagmanley,
out of those 12 offensive rebounds, Jeff.
Fagmanley tried to go at Chartereau, but no success. Now the game opens up a little bit, maybe a chance for GB. Cross court to Rachel van der Waal, and she nails a three.
I mean, this GB team, they're not going away. They're not going to give up. They didn't make it this far to the semifinals of the Women's EuroBasket 2019 to just fold in the semifinal. They want to play.
Well, the drive from Meehan, and she was fouled. She caught, not a drive, but she caught it right in that low post. Here's van der Waal. It's been their biggest weapon, GB. 7 of 18 from three-point range, but this is where they're really struggling. And
Van der Waal
was actually called for the foul.
Yeah. She was talking to the ref right now, saying, you know, that wasn't me, that was Samuelson. But unfortunately, Van der Waal is going to have to come out, and Steph Collins checks into the game.
Big moment for Steph Collins. And Indy Meehan is playing a whale of a game, which she misses. With that attempt, she's got 11 points and 6 rebounds. Makes 1 of 2 for 12 points. She comes out and Gruda comes back in. Hey, France. See if they can lower the boom. So far, Great Britain are fighting, as we would expect. Now, this is a difficult matchup, I think, for Collins. She gets it to Samuelson. It's a difficult matchup for anybody going up against the Pupa. Look at that. So quick. She's got some long arms, doesn't she?
You know, her feet and her arms and her hands, they're quick. She anticipates incredibly well.
Getting the ball in bounds. Good pass to Simpson. And Simpson. Wow. Rhea Hartley. Back over to Ayayi. Good hands by Samuelson, or else that was going to be 2 points for Gruda. She's made a difference to this GB team. Carly Sanderson. Just a perfect fit, really. Hartley goes out. Trevelyan back in. Now the cutter, and they pass it to Gruda. Oh, and Gruda missed the layup, but then Pupa sneaks in there, gets the rebound. And good hands by Great Britain. Ayayi, though, gets it. Trevelyan, that's online. No, off to the left. It's the back of the rim, and now Simpson and Great Britain, who are down 6. Hanging around, staying within touch. Handy doesn't hesitate, puts it up off the back of the iron. And now a Pupa. Oh, and great play by Collins to knock it away, but then Sheridan Green throws it out of bounds, trying to get it back over to Simpson.
and you know what? Maybe Simpson, Collins is the one who knocked that away. Simpson ended up with the ball. Maybe at that, instead of passing it to Green, she should have just slowed down, wait for his teammates to come down and run an offense.
Bufetta imploring his team to keep fighting. 10 turnovers now on both France and Great Britain. Chartereau off the back of the rim. Samuelson. Gets underneath. She turns back. Ends up putting it up. And the ball lands. Looks like Gruda may have taken a shot to the neck or the face.
And you know, keep in mind, last time GB were in defense in this this position, they gave up a three-pointer by Joanna's. What I mean by that is there's 15 seconds left to play in the quarter, and GB have fouls to give, meaning don't foul a shooter.
Well, here's the final seconds ticking off the clock. Gruda gets it. Samuelson has it. There's a few seconds. She's going to have to launch it. No, she doesn't. Well, France do a good job even in that situation of not giving away anything. Well, France were better, but Great Britain did well to stay within touch. It's France leading at 52-46 at the end of three quarters.
Quick look at the stats after 30 minutes. Pretty even there from two. Three-pointers, more or less on par. Neither team really shooting that well from the free throw line.
Well, Shona, you know, I think France have done a really good job tonight with their, you know, it's a tough semifinal. They struggled early. They were missing some easy shots. Great Britain had the wind in their sails, but I think the intensity of France, especially on the defensive end and the boards, has been something that has been very, very impressive.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think GB, are, I want to say, almost lucky to only be down 6, because it really felt like, especially in that third quarter, that France, like you said, picked up their intensity, and they forced Great Britain into incredibly tough shots, which they were missing. So I would love to see Chantal Henney, Feg Bentley here, and Joe Leadham just kind of go to work. I mean, this is do or die time. You have 10 minutes left. How badly do you want it? GB are going to fight to the end, no matter what. We know that. Well, Coach Chema knows that.
Well, Fotu back in the game. Indy Miem has it. Yayi. Andy guarding Miem. Traveling called on Miem. Seems like Miem's been around forever, yet she still looks young, doesn't she? How does she do it? Drinking from the fountain of youth? She started when she was really young.
She did, along with Gruda. Gruda is early 30s.
Effectively, it's down low. Oh, now a traveling call on Beckham. France have won all 5 women's EuroBasket semifinal games in which they were ahead at the end of 3 quarters. in the 21st century. And Endymion down low, and France making it look easy right now. Corner goes to Collins. Now Fagbinley, bounce pass, beautiful play, but then Leadham missed the shot. The ball was batted out of bounds.
You know, GB kind of have to take a few risks here on defense, and you saw that last layup by Endymion, and Joe Leadham almost got the steal. There you just see, I mean, it was good recovery defense by I think Joe's getting a little frustrated, like many of the GB players are on offense.
Well, Chartereau just read that inbounds pass and stole it away. Now France up 8, bounce pass to Chartereau, who has it taken, or is tied up, and it goes back over to Great Britain. I'm so used to seeing Chartereau play outside with that good shot that she's got, but she's really showing her size. She's quite a handful inside too, isn't she? Fagbinley doing everything she can to get the ball back to Great Britain.
I mean, really, I think that was a good job by Steph Collins to come over and help a little bit. GB have to give it everything they have right now. Offensively, defensively, they need a rebound. They need to give themselves second chance opportunities.
Well, Chartereau might have gotten away with the bump there, but that was great effort from Fagbinley. Taking the contact and staying with the play. Goes back to a 6-point deficit now. Partly over to a Yayi for 3. And Van der Waal back in the game with 4 fouls. Brings it across midcourt. And good defense by France, pressuring Samuelson on the catch. Johannes getting a hand on that. Making life extremely difficult for Great Britain at that end. Johannes already with 16 points, which is the most ever for her in a EuroBasket. Oh, she had made that. That would have been something else. Now Leadham goes in, takes the contact. And that was a good play by her. Clock stops. And she will go to the line.
Yeah, exactly, Jeff. You know, the best way to get back in the game is shoot free throws while the clock stopped. And be aggressive, and that's what Joe Leadham was on that last play.
She does so many things for this team, which was highlighted in that last game. That win over Hungary. It's not just the scoring. She misses the free throw. She had the 12 rebounds, the 8 assists in the last game, the 3 steals to go with her 4 points.
Well, you know what I think makes Joe Leadham such a special player is that if things are not going well for her offensively and she's not necessarily scoring, she's still a player who is so incredibly valuable out on the court because of all the other things that she does. And, you know, with her defense, with her rebounding, with her intelligent passing.
Oh, look at that. What a play by Leadham. Talk about doing so many things, and steals it, lays it up and in, and it's back to a 3-point game, and Garnier is going to be breathing fire over on that French bench. Falling asleep, and the opportunistic Joe Leadham races down for the layup.
She must have heard me talking about her.
Look at the determination there. They're looking at you right in the eye, Joe. They're not going away.
They're not going away, but we knew GB would not give up without a fight. And, you know, they've been close all game because of the way that they play.
D'accord? Pour l'instant, c'est un geste avec toi. D'accord? Puis derrière, c'est un turn de 5. Mais le turn de 5, c'est pour prouver.
You can see, it's been a great game by Johannes all over the league stats.
What is important is to play organized with discipline and drive inside and pass the ball to them inside. All right, if we have shoot the ball.
Lead him with those 3 steals and 7 rebounds to go with her 6 points. It's been a great FIBA Women's EuroBasket, balanced. We've seen some surprises, and I think Great Britain is the biggest surprise of all. Nobody would have picked them to be in the semifinals.
No, I mean, they're almost the Cinderella story like Belgium was back in 2017.
And now the fight, Fagbenley knocks it away, but then almost a turnover, but a foul was called on France. And this game might just have another twist in the tail. It really did seem as if France were far bigger lead, but Great Britain have done a great job fighting and staying within touch.
And you know, I think a lot of people who follow women's basketball, one of their maybe biggest criticisms about France would be in close games when they do start to go on a run, they have a hard time of putting teams away, and we're seeing that here tonight.
Well, Leedham's got it, and an air ball picked out of the air by Van der Waal, and she missed the layup. Leedham, though, with the offensive rebound. She misses with a putback. 2 or 3 golden opportunities spurned by Great Britain. Samuelson trying to defend against the bigger Miam. And Miam does a great job of getting inside. And she will go to the line. Assistant coaches for Great Britain. We were talking about Leedham 3+ steals in 5 of her 6 EuroBasket games. And her 4 per game before the semifinal was the best in the competition. But right now it is Indy Miam. Seem to be saying her name a lot here in the crucial stages of the game. Her numbers keep going up and away. Indy Miam now 14 points, 6 rebounds. In fact, now Indy Miam and Johannes each lead France with 16 points. Handy. Over to Samuelson. And Pupa brings it down. Now Hartley. Chartereau into Gruda. Well, very patient. And the lead goes back to 7. Gruda just 3 of 12 from the floor, has 11 points, but she made the huge impact on defense tonight.
Yeah, I think she's a big reason why Fagbenley has...
Oh, here's Fagbenley. They've got to give her room. No, they're going to call a charge. She caught the ball.
Let's see here.
Pupa snuck in there. Watch this. Well,
kind of a tough call on Fagbenley there.
I think Bufetta is querying the referee why that call was made.
Yeah. I mean, it looked to us that Ipupa was still moving.
Entry pass to Chartereau. Hartley explodes in. Hartley, oh, what a job rebounding by Samuelson. That was impressive. She drove Chartereau back. Here's Serbia watching this game before they come out and play against Spain tonight. And we're wondering if Dabovic is going to play because she does have a broken bone in her hand.
She is suited up. It looks like she's ready to go.
I'll tell you, that was gritty by Samuelson.
But those are the kind of plays that you have to make at the end of the game if you want to win.
Here's Leadham, puts her head down, drives in, puts it up. She draws the foul. She will go to the line for a potential three-point play.
That's going to be Hartley's 4th foul. You know, I talked about Ayayi before this tournament.
Boy, just can't buy a free throw. Leadham, Great Britain have really missed a lot in this game. And that could prove ruinous for them, as it has some other teams. It killed Belgium last night. Great Britain now 6 of 12 at the free throw line.
And they were over 80% going into this game, Jeff.
And Leadham is 2 of 5. Great defense by Great Britain. You know, maybe it has something to do with how hard it is to play against France. You know, you're tired when you go to the line.
Yeah.
You don't have your legs.
Yeah. And you keep in mind, Great Britain have played one more game in this tournament than GB have, so they should have fresher legs. They have a deeper bench. You know, if we looked at the minutes that the French players have played and the minutes that these GB starters have played.
Well, van der Waal was open, and she launched the 3. She's hit some, but she was too long on that. Now Hartley. Johannes has been relatively quiet offensively in this half. Now she's got it. She's open. She's going to drift in on the baseline. She rattles it in.
Did it hit the side of the backboard?
No, I think it's
or
just
the top. It was just our angle.
Yeah.
That was a step back 1-foot shot.
Leadham into Fagbinley to the cutter, and van der Waal not able to finish. Epupa on the break to Hartley. Samuelson knocks it away. Boy, that was a great defensive play, and then Epupa reaches in and fouls Leadham.
And you know, you see Epupa. Let's see here. Oh, good job by Samuelson. That was all ball.
You know, the types
Here, look at
of
this.
tough plays that Samuelson makes, you really fall in love with it, don't you? And
Yeah,
then,
you do.
But Johannes tonight is just poetry in motion. When she's at her best, she is poetry in motion.
She really is. And you know, this is the person that a lot of people thought would be playing for, you know, an All-Star 5 type performance.
Shady Green comes back in for Handy. You know, by the way, speaking of Gruda, now she's got her 3rd double-double in 5 EuroBasket semifinals. So when the semifinals roll around, Sandrine Gruda comes to play. Takes her time, makes 1 of 2. Points to lead for France. If they get a shot here, it'd be a dagger. A real dagger. Epupa. Shot clock winding down. And late in the shot clock with 4.3 seconds left, a foul called on Leadham.
Yeah, that was really good defense. Actually, I think that's good defense. It's kind of the way Epupa plays defense on everyone else, so I don't know why, you know, that's being called on Joe Leadham. I mean, the good thing is it's only Joe Leadham's 2nd foul.
Now Gruda. She's going to go to Fagbinley. Nope, she's going to get it back. And then great defense, team defense by Great Britain. And amazing they came away with that, because Gruda had a full head of steam there.
Yeah,
and Fagbinley did a terrific job, as did Samuelson. Leadham. Got miscommunication, and Johannes was there. Oh boy, isn't she special?
I mean, in this game alone, I think she has all the top 5 plays of the day. Look at this.
Yeah, it'll just be the Marine Johannes top 5.
It will tonight.
I'll tell you, it's almost as if something happened.
You know, she had a day off yesterday. They did practice.
They must have had a conversation or something.
They did practice. Who knows?
Coming up, so we pass the ball to the the side of shading, always shading here. Then he comes there to try to play one-on-one, okay? All right? And then here, okay? Remember, you can play one-on-one here or pass the ball.
Et on va trouver plutôt les intérieurs sur des mouvements où elles sont lancées et non postées parce qu'on est impacté physiquement. D'accord?
Here you see the top scorers, Joanna's with really what has been an easy almost 20 points. It's looked easy, I mean. The things that she is doing, anyone who knows basketball, it is not easy. Look at that. But 20 points, and when she's on and when she's aggressive, I feel like this French team could just blow any team away. But they haven't. They haven't done it, you know, today against Great Britain. They didn't do it last game against Belgium, so.
Well, your hope is that, you know, if they win this game, that they'll play like this in the final, because this is exciting stuff. But Great Britain still have life. But their margin for error now ever so slender. Fagbinley takes it right in. Great hands by Johannes.
You know, I think what'll be good for Fagbinley after this tournament is done, take some time, you rest, but to watch this game and kind of watch what Gruda was doing. Look at the hops by Apupa there.
Apupa just doesn't stop. They thought they had it.
I really think, looking back on this, Fagbinley will, she'll learn a lot from this this experience. She, you know.
Well, you're always learning, but I mean, it's not every time that you get to a semifinal. And you know, the reality is that Great Britain right now are playing one of the best teams in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, and France is what, 4th in the world?
A team
in the FIBA World
that has
Cup.
played in numerous semifinals. A team that last won the title back in 2009, but don't forget they got the silver medal at the Olympics in London.
And since 2009, Joe, they have been in the finals. They've only had silver though. So France basketball, French fans, they kind of want that curse to be over.
Samuelson puts it up. Great rebound by Green. Back to Van der Waal. Feet set, short, and the shot's not falling for Great Britain.
And you know, here you kind of got to go for, you got to force them into a turnover, a tough shot, and you need to run. You can't take much more time off the clock. What you don't want to do is foul late now.
No. You've already let all the time run off the clock. And Gruda gets it. Great defense. Clock becoming the enemy now for Great Britain. Trailing by 8. They need somebody to hit a shot. They look tired. Lead them. And Gruda fouls, and that means free throws for Great Britain, so that helps.
Might have been
Stops
on
the
Joanna.
clock. Is it Johannes? Okay.
Yeah, so what, you know, Joe Leadham did a good job of kind of curling off the down screen, and Fagbinley set the screen, and Joanna's, when she got hit by Fagbinley, sort of grabbed her. It's very typical move.
Andreas Zaglis, the FIBA Secretary General, Turgay Demirel as well, FIBA Europe President, and to the right, Kamil Novak, the FIBA Europe Regional Director, and Timmy Fagbinley, the Great Britain superstar with 9 points. Even in a game when she hasn't been as dominant as she was, she's got some pretty impressive stats.
Yeah.
And she stays back to help put pressure on Apupa, who falls down and gets up, and it's just extremely difficult to play against. Here she goes, gets into the lane, and she traveled, she dragged her foot. Well, never say never. A minute and 4 seconds is an eternity in basketball, and you're trailing by 6 points. That's a couple of three-pointers.
Right here, you know, they need to help out Apupa. Sorry, Van der Waal.
Fagbinley has it. He's going to take the shot. Joleadon scrambles, but Johannes flies in.
They've had some great shots down the stretch. GB has. In fact, Bentley, that was a good-looking shot from her. Rachel Vanderwool's three-pointer. She was open. She was online. She just came up short, and I think that's a sign of tired legs.
Yeah. Luka nowhere to go, and foul called on Samuelson from behind with 0.2 seconds to go.
How many times have we seen a late foul call? You know, you play great defense for, what was that, 22 seconds?
23.8,
Yeah.
in fact. Samuelson's going to run to the other end. 22.8 seconds remaining in the game, and she makes that. It becomes a three-possession game, effectively, 63-56. I think it's just been a very impressive showing for both of these teams. I mean, this has been a hard-fought semifinal. They've been in a battle, France, and I salute them for coming ready to play tonight. They needed to be ready because this Great Britain team was going to be ready.
Okay, ladies, look. The game is over, but let's do one good play now, okay? And lose with dignity because we deserve to lose with dignity because we played the game, all right? So, now, we put the ball from there and we go for one piece, okay? One piece, okay?
Great Britain with 7 threes.
Corner,
not as many of late.
Georgia in the other corner, Chantal, all right? And then you come there.
D'accord, pas ici, très large. D'accord, je pense qu'ils vont faire trop.
And that was the point that you made right there.
Allez,
The depth issue. And really, France, you could probably say 1 through 10, maybe even 1 through 11, have players that are coming out and making real contributions. 28 points, and that includes in scoring, 28 points from the bench.
And, you know, I said that at the start of the game, Jeff. I said I don't know if GB's bench is as talented as France's. And, you know, some of these French players don't get a lot of opportunity to play, but these are women who could probably start on a lot of teams at this EuroBasket on other countries' teams.
Jones in the game. They want to run a play. You heard Coach Buffett. I've never heard that before. Let's go run a play and lose with dignity. Kind of signaling the game is up. They want to be remembered for a good play at the end of this game. They've got to hurry up. They're not going to get it off. So that's how it finishes. Great Britain have nothing to be ashamed of. They were outstanding, but France deservedly winning it. 63-56. They put on a show today. They were terrific. And they are in the final of the FIBA Women's EuroBasket 2019. They will play Spain or Serbia. Great Britain rallying.
And, you know,
talking it up.
Yeah, it's disappointing, but they have another game tomorrow. They have a chance to play for a bronze medal to make even more history, possibly for GB basketball. France, I mean, a lot of people pick France to be medal winners. I know a lot of French fans think that this is the year, the 10-year mark since the last time they won gold. You know, it's now their time again to be top of the podium at a EuroBasket.
Well, you know, this is going to be their 9th EuroBasket final and the 4th in a row. So no current team has qualified for as many finals, the single game final, title game, as France in EuroBasket history.
There you see the stats.
I think the free throws Great Britain.
Definitely. I mean, France didn't shoot much better, but GB had opportunities to cut down the lead. There you see assists, 21-16. Turnovers pretty equal, 17-15 only for GB. Good job by GB protecting the ball, especially against a very good French team that can defend and put pressure on people. Here are the game leaders. Marine Johannes, thank you for finally showing up. I thought Van der Waal had a great game, especially in the first half. Look at that. Johannes again, 5 steals. Joe lead him, like I said. Ball wasn't really going in the hoop, but she does everything else for this team, and that's why she is so valuable.
For Olivia Pupa, 2 games in a row with 9 rebounds. That tells you about, you know, she might not be the tallest player, but it's not going to keep her from getting rebounds. Top scorers, Johannes with 20, Miem 16, Gruda with 11. You saw that Gruda had the 11 points and 10 rebounds. And Johannes, the first player coming off the bench at this EuroBasket with 20+ points and 5+ assists. And also the 20 points, her best ever tally in a competitive game with France. So she saved her best for Great Britain. And they march on to the final. And on that evidence, they've got every chance of winning this title. I mean, they have got everything you need to win.
I said, Jeff, that Belgium game in the quarterfinals, if France can beat Belgium in the quarterfinals, I think gold is probably going to go to them. They beat Belgium barely. They took them to overtime, and it was only a 4-point win in overtime. But as far as talent goes, this France team should easily have an opportunity to be top of the podium here this year.
Is basketball not a funny game, though? If you think about it, if you look at Chantal Handy's 3-pointer, France yesterday were 10 seconds away from crashing out of the EuroBasket in the quarterfinals. And they got the Bria Hartley 3-pointer with 10 seconds to go, and then they won in overtime.
Yeah.
And you just have to, sometimes, or usually, you have to win games like that.
Yeah, you do. I mean, and that's sport, and that's why we play it, and that's why it's wonderful. Because, you know, these things happen. Some miracles happen. Basketball gods are in your favor sometimes, so.
I thought, for me, coming into this, I thought Pupa would be the real problem defensively in the backcourt, and that really wasn't the problem. The problem for Great Britain today was Sandrine Gruda and her defense on Temi Fakbenley, especially in that low post in that first half. It really, I think, took Great Britain's biggest weapon away from them.
I agree with you. I mean, Gruda came off absolutely the game of her career against Belgium 2 nights ago, and you know, we talked about this going into the game. I wonder what kind of a battle it's going to be between Gruda and Fakbenley. And I think, you know, statistics-wise, Gruda was only 3 of 14, but she did have 10 rebounds. She had 3 blocks, but she really changed GB's offense by the way that she played defense. And I think tonight's performance by Gruda solidifies her kind of career with France.
Well, these are the results from today. Belgium winning over Hungary, Sweden beating Russia. Those 2 teams at the FIBA Women's Olympic qualifying tournament next year. Now France have won against Great Britain there in the final, and they will face the winner of the next game between Serbia and Spain.